Peter.
All right, good evening everyone. We're going to get started. My name is Silas. Welcome to Brookline Booksmith's author event series. Just a few housekeeping notes. Thanks for keeping your phones on silent. If you haven't yet picked up a pre-ordered book or you'd like to buy a book, you can do so at the desk over there after the event. We're here tonight to celebrate the release of The Duke with author Scott Kerman in conversation with Governor Michael Dukakis. We're honored to have you with us, sir. Scott Kerman is currently the humor columnist at the Eagle Tribune newspaper, writing the popular World According to Scott weekly column. He's the author of 7 books, including the World According to Scott 3-book humor series. Scott was a stand-up comedian for over 20 years, with appearances on HBO Live from the Aspen Comedy Festival and Comedy Central. He is also the host of the long-running Boston sports talk show, The Grandstanders. Michael Dukakis is, of course, a lifelong resident of Brookline. He graduated from Brookline High School, where he met his future wife, Kitty, and Swarthmore College. And then in the...
where Swarthmore is? I had no idea. Never been out of the way.
And then he went much further when he enlisted in the U.S. Army and was stationed in South Korea. He received his law degree from Harvard Law School. Subsequently, he served 4 terms in the Massachusetts State Representative for Brookline, and in 1974, he was elected governor of Massachusetts. He would go on to serve 3 terms as governor, the longest serving governor in the history of our state. He was the 1988 Democratic nominee for president, and after finishing his final term as governor in 1991, he began a 20-plus year career as a professor at Northeastern and UCLA. The Duke Weekly Conversations with the Last Honest Politician demonstrates that America needs the Duke now more than ever. It is our honor and pleasure to welcome Scott Kerman and Governor Michael Dukakis.
Well, thank you guys for coming. It's great to be in our hometown, right? When we started this project 4 years ago, and you never know if this stuff is going to go, right? I said, I only want you to come to one place if this book comes to fruition. I want you to come to the best independent bookstore in the country, the Brookline Booksmith, our hometown bookstore. Yeah. And he said, I will come, Scott, and he's come. And I can't thank him enough for being here. And he is the most remarkable person. I know you all know that. I mean, you can just feel the love in this room already. So we know why Governor Dukakis is here, but what the hell am I doing here? Okay, so like most of you who met Michael Dukakis, and I think pretty much all of you have met Michael Dukakis, right? You remember the first time you met Michael Dukakis. Well, I met him the first time when I was 11 years old. In 1977, my parents were having a fundraiser for him in our backyard in Methuen, Massachusetts. An ice cream smorgasbord. Yeah, there are no more 3 beautiful words in the English language than ice cream smorgasbord. So I went over to the ice cream stand, which is clearly a comfort zone. And all of a sudden he meandered over, and you ordered your favorite ice cream. What's your favorite ice cream? Coffee. Coffee ice cream.
Coffee chip.
Oh, coffee chip. Probably didn't get it that day. But coffee, I had strawberry. We stood there, and at 11 years old, we talked about the Red Sox. And then close.
Still talking about
We're still talking about the Red Sox here. So what happened? So I grew up, and he grew up too, and we would continue to connect through fundraisers and sorts. So I moved to Brookline 20 years ago, and we really reconnected. But we then connected at the Grandstanders. I don't know, anyone familiar with the Grandstanders?
Yes.
It's a show we've been going for, yeah, 15 years in Brookline. And so once we started the show, now I started the show with my mailman, my barber, and my two friends who are fellow season ticket holders for the Boston Red Sox. So just an average guy's show, right? So the first person I called was Governor Dukakis to be on our show. And he said, well, Scott, I don't know, I've never been on a sports show before and talked sports. I said, okay, Governor, I understand. How about next Thursday? And he came on our show for 10 straight years. And we had a ball, right? Kitty would come every once in a while, every year Kitty would come, and that was a block party when Kitty came. That was just the most fun. So 4 years ago, now you have to understand about Governor Dukakis, he's such a brilliant man, and so well-read, history. He reads the newspaper, the Boston Globe, and the New York Times daily. So he's a topic jumper. And you gotta be on your A game with a topic jumper, right? He goes from public policy to Greek pastry before you even know it. So we're talking about, on this show, how the Red Sox stink. Nothing new. And all of a sudden, I'm only gonna read one thing from the book. I know book readings. I know when people read from the book, how torturous that is. But one thing I'm going to read. So we're talking about the Red Sox stinking, and he goes this. Scott, I can't understand how anyone can be anything but honest. I was brought up to believe that honesty wasn't a choice, it was the way you lived your life. You tell the truth. This is non-negotiable. You do what's right. It's not that hard. I've never understood lying. And I was like, whoa, whoa. Who talks like that? No more, right? Nobody talks like that. Why doesn't anyone talk like that? So I went home, and for the next few days, I said, I would love to write a book with the governor, but has there ever been a book written about the governor? So I checked, and there had not been a book written about you. There's been a book written about pretty much every political leader known to mankind. Dan Quayle has a book. It's misspelled, but he still has a book. So I called him up, and I told him my idea, right, about writing a book. And the humble person that he is, he said, well, Scott, I don't want it to be all about me. So I said, okay, Governor, I'll make it about me too. And 4 years later, it's the Duke. Weekly conversation with the last honest politician. This is just a labor of love. So what we agreed to do is that I would come to his house on a regular basis and sit at the kitchen table, and we would talk for an hour and a half and 2 hours, and we've done that for 4 years. And this is how this book came. I want to talk about the cover. You guys love the cover?
Yeah. Great cover.
Isn't it a great cover?
Great cover.
Doesn't he look great? I mean, this is a 90-year-old man. Who puts a 90-year-old man on a cover? If you look like him, you do. I always say he's got a hell of a gene pool going. Look at that hairline. Look at that smile. And of course, he's rocking that sweater. As we know with the 78 blizzard, nobody rocks a sweater like Governor Dukakis. Right? And he also has the Superman curl going. Now, it's been so well received, if you can believe it, there's going to be a 9-part documentary series on Netflix on the making of this cover. Annie Leibovitz is going to be involved. It's going to be incredible. And I'm here right now to give you guys, because you're such a beautiful group, God bless you, I'm here to give you a sneak preview of how the cover was made. Can you brace yourself? Hey, Governor, before we sit down, you look so handsome today. Let me take a picture. Thank you. That's the picture. So the back cover's a little more controversial. Now, what I got to know about, so the back, so the governor talks to so many ex-students and gives them counsel, and you mentor so many people. And when I'm talking to him, he's mentoring, he's like, hold on, he'll be talking to former students, telling them, giving them advice. So one time he was talking to a student for a long time, and I just got kind of bored, and I looked down, and I saw him with his khakis, his New Balance sneakers, his legs folded, so comfortable, and I said, wow, this kind of represents where he is in his life, and how happy he is to be able to give somebody, a student of his counsel. So I took a picture of his feet, and I showed him the picture. And I explained to him what I explained to you, and he goes, you took a picture of my feet? Like, yeah. He goes, okay, I'll have to get used to it. So that's the cover. And that's the Duke Weekly Conversations, the last honest politician.
Tell him the rest of the story.
What's that?
Well, if you look at the cover, it says what?
The last honest politician.
Last honest politician. And I said, God, look, we've worked very hard over 12 years to clean up the Commonwealth and transform it into what we hope is something that people feel good about. But there are still lots of honest politicians these days. We, one right here. And so I said, that's not anger. I know what he's looking for.
I said it's a metaphor. Last Mohicans, probably not the last Mohican. It's a metaphor, but I said to me, it feels like you're the last honest politician. And in this current climate, it stands out. And
Maybe one or two conspicuous ones, but we're a much better state these days than we were back when we started this whole business.
that's what I want to talk about first. You become governor in 1974, you beat the incumbent, Francis Sargent, and you told me there was lots of corruption in the state of Massachusetts that you had to clean up, right?
Can I tell you one story about that? Just one. I arrived at the State House for my first day on the job. And there were a lot of folks who I didn't recognize who were there. And they were getting something, passing it to somebody else, and going home. 55 of them. And I said, what the hell is going on here? Well, they're picking up their tickets.
The check. Yeah.
Well,
Oh, okay.
yeah. I said, picking up their check. Well, why aren't they paying? Why aren't they using that check to admit themselves to this event? Well, 55 folks were, if you can believe it, coming in, picking up their tickets, and going home.
No show jobs.
55 of them. God knows how many more were going on. And it wasn't that they were, bad people, or that the folks who they were taking care of were bad people. But 55 folks walking in, picking up a check, coming home. I said, well, that's over. Caused a few problems. There were some people that thought they were entitled to a check and a ticket. Anyway, doesn't happen anymore. Don't go down and to one of our events and think you're gonna get in for nothing. But it was a lousy time. I mean, it was a time when, and these were not bad people, they just had a different approach to how you get into a political event. Anyway, those things are over. We spent 12 years hard at it. And I think it's fair to say that, at least in Massachusetts, and increasingly in other states as well, people are behaving themselves, they're working hard, and the quality and caliber of our political world is a hell of a lot better than it was on that morning when I first got there. Doesn't mean that we don't have to do this all the time. I won't get into my views on the current state administration, except to say that it's not the kind of thing that I wanted to do. And lots of it is we've got good people at the state level. A fine governor of Massachusetts. Who I don't have to,
There you go.
And a lot of this happened during that the 12 years that I was governor. Don't ask me why I lost for the presidency, I guess, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that.
Anyway, but don't worry about that. Anyway, but for me, it was a wonderful 12 years. And many of you were part of that. As I look over this,
A lot of people that worked for you are in this audience right now, right?
Lots of them, yeah. And it's great to see those folks. But in any event, things have changed. They'll change some more. But it was an interesting story. Me and picking up your check. 55 people picking up that check. God knows how many were out there. Anyway, small anecdote.
You had to explain that to me a number of times. I don't know, you guys Sopranos fans? Remember when the Sopranos, when they used to do the no-show jobs, they used to sit in a lawn chair, they'd like eat a sandwich while everyone else worked around them? That's what I thought what no-show jobs were. And he's like, no show. I'm like, okay, they don't show up? And he said, no, they don't show up for work. And I said, well, how do they get their check? He goes, that's the time they show up to get their check. I'm like, okay, so it's not like the Sopranos. So this is, we're gonna go in and out, that's what this book is all about. He's the most kind and considerate person I've ever met. He is simply that, and I am one for hyperbole, but I'm telling you, he is. And for one example, is that the governor engages telemarketers. He does. He engages telemarketers. Yes. And I asked him why he did it. He goes, well, they're just hard-working folks who are trying to make a living for themselves and for their family, so I give them that consideration. And it makes sense, right? These are the same people that he represented to go into public service. So I would sit there like a child when daddy's going, into the grocery store. But there was one time that is vivid to me when he was doing this. So he listens to the spiel of the person, and he goes, well, I've never owned a jet ski. But if I ever purchased a jet ski, then it's good to know that folks like you are selling jet ski insurance. There is no one like him. So now he's given me, of course he's made such an impression on me, right? How could he not have? So now he's forced me, in his own way, he hasn't said it. So when the phone rings, potential spam. Oy vey. Hello? Oh, you laugh? Oh, don't laugh, guys. Because you're going to come out of here seeing the great Governor Dukakis. you're gonna get a book that, I have to tell you, is really good. But also you now have the responsibility. So when you see potential spam, answer the damn phone. Did I tell him?
That's it.
Exactly.
Okay.
But why do you engage people? You do appreciate the working folks. I said when if we were starting our own country, okay, Dukakis land, a new country, and I said, what would be the most important thing? And I said to you, would it be healthcare? And he said, healthcare would be very important. He said, but the most important thing would be jobs. And do you believe that still?
Yeah.
He said, people need to be working. And in your administration, you always made sure that people were working.
Well,
The Massachusetts miracle, right? We reap the rewards of your great work to this day.
Me and lots of other good people, some of whom are in this room. And I thank you for that.
That's one of the things that so many people told me about Governor Dukakis, is that Governor Dukakis surrounded himself with the best people, always, the best people, and he let them do their job. And that's a testament to you.
Well, to them too, to them too. Anyway, let's get on with the show.
Oh, yeah. You're right. I know, I gotta kick into this.
Right.
Okay, so as you know, that Governor Dukakis has been walking the streets of Brookline for 80 plus years, right?
Pretty close.
You know, his father, I don't know if you know this, his father was a longtime doctor in Boston, right? Over 50 years.
Yeah.
And his father, he was a family doctor, but he also delivered babies.
Lots of them.
So here it is, one of the most famous resident of Brookline in modern history, one of the most famous residents of Massachusetts. But people come up to you all the time and go, hey, your dad delivered me.
Right.
Really? That's what you're seeing with this guy? But it's true, right?
Any of you here were delivered by my dad?
Any of you?
You delivered a lot of them, I can tell you.
Because there's some invoices unpaid. Possibly clear up right now. There's some interest and stuff. So he's been walking these streets for 50 years, and you made, for his whole life, 8 plus years. And he picks up litter. You all know this?
Yes.
Yep. I said, had he become president, he would have personally kept America clean.
But it was a terrible situation at the time, including in Brookline. And people would see me walking around picking stuff up, and, you know. But the town was not in very good shape. It was dirty. And it bothered the hell out of me. And I met with the Public Works Commissioner at the time. It was, you know, years ago. I met with all kinds of people. And they all kind of nodded, but nobody was picking up this trash. And I finally decided, well, if nobody else was gonna do it, I would go out on Sundays in particular and pick it up. So I left our house with my stuff, and as I began what became a pretty regular routine, there was a woman in a car who said, "Oh," she said, "is this a community project?" I said, "Yeah, you're looking at it." Today, Brookline, I'm happy to say, with one exception, looks terrific. What's the exception? Graffiti on Star Road Drive. What the hell is the matter with us? Can't we clean that up? Anyway, that's our last project. Once that's done, here we are. Okay,
But you used to clean, we talked about graffiti, and then you said you started cleaning graffiti in Boston.
Well, I mean, John Bussinger has been doing this work for years, and we thank him for it. Was ahead of me when it came to this stuff. And we're still at it, and we're gonna continue to be at it until we get it done, and we're gonna get the north-south rail link built.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah, they have the responsibility now for protecting Spam and north and south rail link. Yeah, you guys are bringing a lot home for this. But I have a story I didn't tell you last week. So I was talking to a longtime male employee on the street, a female, and she said, I told her that, I wrote a book with you, and she says, the governor used to clean the graffiti off the mail collection boxes. He used to drag his kids on weekends with him to do that. I go, okay. I go, well, he's 91 years old now. She goes, okay, I understand. She goes, will he get back to doing that anytime soon? Maybe. I can't commit to it. Well, I want to get to the whole, I got to finish up the little thing is, when we talk about this stuff a lot, I have, again, over 200 hours of audio recordings of Governor Dukakis. I said, when you were walking sometime and you saw somebody litter, would you react to them? What would you say?
What did I say?
You said, yeah. You'd go, hey fella, who do you think's gonna pick that up? Can you imagine? You just come out of Dunkin', get a donut, throw a wrapper down, all of a sudden there's a voice behind you. Okay, I'm gonna ignore him, and then he continues, and then you turn around and it's the governor of the freaking state of Massachusetts. Oh my God.
Yeah. But the town today looks far better than it did when I first arrived. That was a long time ago. And one thing we haven't been able to deal with is the Star Drive graffiti problem. Don't ask me why. The problem.
And the turnpike.
Huh?
The turnpike.
Turnpike, well, not as bad as Star Drive. So folks, from now on, when you see it, do something.
Pull over and Star Drive.
Anyway.
Be careful on that. I would just completely dive into going into that. We're going to talk a little bit about the presidential election. We're not talking about the election. Now this is a little test for you guys. He beat for the Democratic nomination probably the most impressive group of politicians that you could imagine literally in modern history. All right, so let's start with name one of the people.
Yeah, Bob.
Joe Biden.
Okay, we'll start with Joe Biden. All right, thank you very much. Now, Joe Biden didn't last long in the election, did he?
No.
What happened?
Plagiarism.
Plagiarism. Is that even a thing now? Right. He copied. Remember, he copied part of Neil Kinnock's speech. Neil Kinnock was a leader in England. Yeah. So he took what did he take? A couple of sentences, and that in 1987 eliminated you. Oh, that would happen now. I'm sure of it. Plagiarism. Okay, so this one, and whatever happened to that Joe Biden? Yeah. Okay. So who's the second guy?
Gephardt.
We'll go Gephardt. Nice guy, actually. Very nice guy, right? But a heavyweight congressman, right? And for a long time. All right. So that's the second one. Who finished second in the race? Jesse Jackson. That's right. Another huge Jesse Jackson. Are we kidding? Right? Now there's another one. Come on. Someone said it. Al Gore. became the Vice President of the United States, right? Should have been President of the United States. Can you imagine how many people you beat? I mean, this is big stuff.
But I didn't win in the end.
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about it. And the Patriots won in 2008. This is how we work. Okay, there's another one. Who's another one? Paul Simon. Who is Paul Simon? Not the singer. The guy with the bow tie who looked like he should be running for president in like 1888. Right?
The bow tie.
And then, oh, but I am so glad we worked to the final one because that's the most fun, guys.
Gary Hart.
Oh, thank you. Gary Hart, right? Gary Hart. He's the gift that keeps giving. Gary Hart. Now, Gary Hart, this is a great example for you all moving in the future. Not everything is a photo opportunity. Sometimes nobody should be taking any pictures. So let me give you a little history. Gary Hart was the senator, remember, from Colorado. Well-respected guy. He quit becoming senator to run for president, if you remember. And shortly thereafter, he announced, and there was some guy who had a camera on a boat. Do you remember what the boat's name was?
Monkey Business.
Monkey Business. Oh my God! Seriously? How does a wife let? Can you imagine? Would Kitty let you have a boat and call it Monkey Business? So but that's not even the worst part of this story, kids. It's not. Okay. So he has a picture of this beautiful blonde. Do we remember her name?
Right.
Donna Rice, draped on top of him. I didn't even know it was physically possible to be whatever she was. But again, that's not even the worst part of this story, guys. What shirt is he wearing? Monkey Business Crew. He's done. See you later. Thanks, Gary Hart, for playing our game of president. And that was it. So they went to the convention. Huge. Who was the keynote speaker at the 1988 convention? Bill Clinton, right? He was so boring. Right? Remember that. He was horrifically boring that when he finally said, in wrapping it up, that's when he got a standing ovation. Right? When he was done his boring speech, the headline the next day was, Clinton's done. He's finished. It can only take so much. And of course, he ends up the president 4 years later. Now, I asked you, which it shocked me, when you were considering vice presidential candidates, you never spoke to Clinton.
Well, we spoke all the time. I mean,
No, but you didn't speak about him being your nominee, right?
No, because I think probably most of us knew that he was going to be a candidate at some point, and sooner rather than later, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you knew.
Yeah.
And in that convention, who brought him up? What person brought Governor Dukakis up to make his DNC speech? What's that? No? And we should mention Nick Metropolis, who passed away. Great person and a close advisor of yours.
Right.
Yeah. I did one. And when we talk about great, yeah, we'll get there. Absolutely. When we talk about great people in his administration, I think, right, you might start with Nick. And our condolences to his family, of course. Who brought him up? Nope. It was a relative. Olympia Dukakis, right? Remember? She did a video. They showed her driving around Brookline and stuff. And you were very close to Olympia. You loved her. Of course, she had just won an Academy Award for what movie? There we go. Exactly. So she wins an Academy Award. He could be president of the United States. That was a pretty good year for the Dukakis family. I know my family, the Kermans, we were just happy that year we got a new lawnmower. And so, of course, I have to ask, and this is all we're going to talk about that. But I do some of these events already, and I asked the question, and just by hands, if you had to be President of the United States or win an Academy Award, Which one would you choose? I'm gonna tell you guys, it was weighted really heavy to one side when I started, doing these events. But now it's gone to the other side because maybe the presidential thing isn't going so well. Okay, by hands, would you like to be president of the United States? Yeah, right, yeah. Right, good one, Brian. Brian, we have a shadow waiting for you right now. And pick your own VP. All right, so, and then of course, the rest of you would like to win the Academy Award.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm a ham. Of course I would like to win the Academy Award. So you probably don't know this, and he is so humble. Not only lovable, he is so humble. But you probably do not know that November 4th, 2014, South Station was renamed the Governor Michael S. Transportation Center at South Station.
Yeah.
So well deserved, right?
For one thing, nobody calls it the Dukakis Station. It is now and always will be.
Bigger sign.
No. First of all, and you know how much I love it, okay? The reason nobody calls it the Dukakis South Station, because at the speech, he said, nobody's gonna call it the Dukakis South Station. So we litigate this on at least once a month. Because if you don't know, recently, Thomas Menino had the Thomas Menino Convention Center, right?
Yeah.
And immediately, naturally, now it's the Menino Convention Center, right? Well, why is it the Dukakis South Station?
It's a dead end.
It's not a dead end.
We need a sign.
Because we gotta do this, right? We have, just start, no, it starts with a grassroots effort. Just start calling it the Dukakis South Station. Nobody will know what the hell you're talking about. They'll probably go somewhere different, but call it the Dukakis South Station.
If you don't call it that, go for the North-South Railroad.
All right, we have to talk about, it's the elephant in the room. Actually, it's the turkey in the room. Your love of turkey soup.
There's nothing like it. It's very inexpensive, which is important to me, as you know. And it tastes awfully good. So.
Do you have a secret recipe you can share with us, or you
Right
can-
now?
No, it's late.
Oh, of course.
Oh, okay.
It's my mother's, it was her recipe. Anyway,
So, but that doesn't stop. In 2015, the Boston Globe did a story about you the day before Thanksgiving, saying that people bring you, because you love turkey soup, bring you turkey carcasses. This is true. They bring it to. So, but he did it to the Globe, and then like Globe's like, it's like a brochure, he's always there. So CNN picks it up, interviews him on Thanksgiving Day, right, about this, and Twitter blows up about this story. So you open the door a day or two later, and how many turkey carcasses do you have?
a lot. A lot.
You said 29. How did Kitty react to 29 dead carcasses on her porch?
Well, she simply said, "Can't we slow this down?" How many of you knew Kate?
So can you imagine, that's when like Tom Clancy series starts, where the presidential nominee opens his door and there's 29 dead turkey carcasses? That's him. So you probably met Governor Dukakis, probably a lot of them, probably at one place. The T, right? A lot of people that, raise your hands if you ever saw Governor Dukakis on the T. Wow, see, look at that. If you don't know, he rode the T to the State House every day. Can you imagine politicians doing that now? Not a chance. I love Governor Healy, I really do, and I met with her for this book, and she's great. I am telling you, she is. She's very similar to him in personality, and when she is in a room, she was a point guard in college, and then she went to play in professional basketball. So she can see the whole room at one time. So she could be talking to someone, or I was at an event, and you can see the maintenance person over there. Nobody talking to him.
She always does.
She does. She beeline, just like he would. She beeline right over to him. And she's a special person. I know you guys all know that. But I asked her, I said, the governor, he rode the T every day. I said, you do that? She goes, oh no. I said, well, how do you, he gets to see people every day. She goes, well, when I'm in line at Starbucks, I see people. But and she has 2 state police officers with her at all times.
She has to.
Yeah, she has to. So this is just the change. The environment has changed. But how special was it to be able to go on the subway to work and be able to talk to your governor?
I had a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Used to be able to walk up the State House stairs, no problem, no security. Just walk right in.
Well, it's been a fun time with you as governor. You're such a special person in this town. I consider you the most important person in Brookline in modern history. And I really do believe that. And nobody loves Brookline more than this guy. And I want to thank you guys for coming. This was great. I hope you enjoyed it.
I just hope I can convince you that connecting North and South stations are essential. They really are, and the gap keeps closing.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's down to now, but it's just.
1.1 miles.
What is it? 1.1. Here's my expert on the subject. Think about it. Imagine if we had north-south.
Okay, if they do that, can we name it after you?
No.
The Duke Tunnel.
We'll name it after you.
Oh, all right. Trust me, I'll take that.
Anyway,
Well, we're not going to take questions.
He's my cousin,
Oh, he is?
yes.
Oh.
Mike, Diane.
Diane who?
Diane. I was at the memorial service for Kitty, and I got my picture taken with her. And my husband, and my grandmother was one that founded the Greek school at the Boston Cathedral.
Really?
Yep. And you were the
Welcome.
first one you were the first student of hers.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and thank you for being part of that.
Okay, so now, if, you have a signed book, if you'd like me to inscribe it, the governor's not gonna do any signatures, but if you have time for them to say hello to you.
Sure.
But, no signatures for the governor, but I will inscribe the books if you'd like. Again,
If anybody wants a sticker, they're right here.
oh my God. Yeah,
Can we get a final round of applause, please? We've got additional books for